You can search far and wide, but you're not going to find a much bigger Mario Tennis Fever fan than yours truly, Ray from Ray's Nintendo Talk. I love that game, and this past week, Nintendo dropped a update for Mario Tennis Fever. What did they add to this game? Mario Galaxy content. And we're not talking about like some other random Mario game that came out within the past couple of years that would have made a lot more sense to be on the Switch too. We're talking about a game that is over 15 years old, that came out during the Wii generation, that came out during the time of a great recession. Super Mario Galaxy is a game that I grew up with. It's a game that many people grew up with. I love Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. Galaxy has been getting so much more love than many of the recent 3D titles, and so many people are wondering, does this mean we're getting a Super Mario Galaxy 3 almost a decade and a half later? I mean, if you look at it in context, like let's look at this tweet here. We've gotten Galaxy 1+2 remakes. We've gotten a physical Rosalina's storybook, which I have. We have Mario and Rosalina amiibo, which I also have. A Mario Galaxy themed balloon at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. A Mario Galaxy movie, which I mean, they say bad adaptation in comparison to the game. Not necessarily a bad adaptation if you know exactly what they were going for, which was just making another Mario movie. Now here we are again with a Galaxy-themed Mario Tennis Fever update. Mario Tennis Fever already had some stuff from Mario Wonder, where they added the talking flower, they added in stuff from that world, they gave us the Wonder Flower effect, they gave us all kinds of stuff that represented that game. You know what we've not gotten any representation of in any game since it released? The last 3D Mario, Mario Odyssey. The only game I can even think of is Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. And the only way that that game was even able to include anything from Odyssey was to totally remove the 3D world courses. But hey, we're not here to discuss that. We're here to discuss the possibility of a Super Mario Galaxy 3. Is it in the works? Is that what's coming next? Let's first talk about the argument against it. Talk about why this perhaps isn't leading to an inevitable Galaxy 3. Well, first, even though the timing is completely and totally off, it's weird marketing, it's just totally messed up, it does have a Mario's 40th anniversary logo at the very beginning of this reveal trailer for the Galaxy update. As random as this may seem, it was planned far in advance. For whatever reason, this is just the timing of when they decided to release it. Maybe it genuinely took them this long. Maybe they decided later in development that they wanted to use a Galaxy update to kind of coincide with the Galaxy movie. All we know is that it is associated with the Mario anniversary celebration that technically ended months ago. I mean, we're midway through summer. We're almost done with summer practically. And here at the very beginning of the year was the last bit of Mario's anniversary, and we didn't get much of anything. And another thing that is just so weird and random that also was kind of attributed to this anniversary was Donkey Kong Bonanza. They gave Donkey Kong and Pauline a costume, a Mario and Luigi costume, and that's going up until September, right? It doesn't make any sense, but for whatever reason, they've continued the celebration of Mario's anniversary well into this summer. Another reason that maybe this doesn't mean that we're getting a Galaxy 3, or it doesn't mean that Nintendo is pivoting back to the Galaxy series, is that it just makes sense that they decided to theme Galaxy and all of the games and all of the merchandise around Galaxy because of the movie. They knew that this movie needed a little bit more juice than the first one because it wasn't as novel as the first one, and they needed to help to push people into theaters and just to get the games going and coinciding with the movies themselves, to kind of help create a circular market where you're going to the movie and then you're going to the game, then you're going back to the movie, and then here's some merchandise. You can just do all kinds of stuff. They started off with a generic Super Mario Bros. Movie where they told a decent story about just most regular Mario stuff. They included stuff throughout the entire series. They didn't make it specific on any one game. Then for the sequel, many people were convinced that it was going to be a Super Mario World adaptation. That's not what we got. We clearly got a Galaxy, and people were like, why would you skip to Galaxy? Well, it's because they didn't really skip to Galaxy. There were very much Galaxy themes throughout this movie. They were going from planet to planet. They had some Galaxy bosses in there, a lot of Galaxy soundtrack stuff, and just all kinds of stuff from Galaxy. But as much stuff as they had from Galaxy, they had plenty of other teasers and other Easter eggs that you could see from other games in the series. It simply wasn't just a Galaxy thing. I can understand why people would say it's a bad adaptation, and maybe this is a conversation more about the movie itself, but really, I don't think it was a bad adaptation. I think it was just, they decided to market it as Galaxy, and it wasn't a Galaxy movie, and if you take it as not a Galaxy movie and just another Mario movie, it was pretty okay, it was pretty good. But clearly, I think that it's fair to say that they totally failed if they were trying to only make this a Galaxy movie and only talk about Galaxy stuff, but that's clearly never what they intended to do. Star Fox is alone a reason why they were never intending this to just be a Galaxy movie. They really just wanted that movie to hit, and they knew it was going to. It made another $1 billion just like the first one did. That's crazy. So they decided to coincide all of these different pieces of merch, all these different games and updates and styles and other stuff like Star Fox. They decided to use the movie hype to hype up the games and vice versa. As weird as it is, as the timing is just so odd, yeah, I think that's probably the most realistic reason as to why we're seeing what we're seeing. I don't believe that there is going to be a Galaxy 3. However, for the sake of the video, for the sake of fun, for the sake of everyone going crazy, and just how much I love Galaxy 1 and 2, I want to talk about why this could possibly mean there's going to be a Galaxy 3, and what a Galaxy 3 could look like on modern hardware after all this time. Well, we're coming off some of those negative reasonings, so let me start off with a little bit of why this might not be a great idea if it is happening, and then the rest of the video will just be fully why this could be amazing. First of all, to end it off, I just don't think that after all this time, a sequel to the Galaxy games is what we need. After Odyssey, so many people were expecting a brand new experience because most people wanted an Odyssey sequel. They wanted an asset reusing sequel that would quickly pump out another game and that we would have on the Switch too. Kind of like what Tears of the Kingdom did to Breath of the Wild, but hopefully it would have taken much less time because the capture mechanic has so much potential that they didn't tap into in Odyssey. So once it became evident that a sequel to Odyssey was not coming, especially after we got 3D World and Bowser's Fury, we knew we were just waiting for the next 3D Mario, that they were working on something totally new. Well friends, it's 2026 and next year is 2027, and by my estimation, even if there is a September Direct, which there likely will be, and even if they do reveal a new 3D Mario, there is no shot, no chance, 0% that a 3D Mario will release this year. It will come out next year in 2027, and guess what? That's 10 years after the last 3D Mario entry. If after 10 years, all they give us is a sequel to a previous game, there's gonna be a lot of problems in the community, and you know what? I don't even think I would be all that upset at it, but I think that the controversy would be way too silly of an idea for them to run with. It also just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why a sequel to a previous 3D Mario game would be coming out much later after several different 3D entries, or why a concept that they already had used before would take them 10 years to develop a brand new one. No, I'm sorry, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. That would be not the greatest move, although I think it would be fun. I would personally love a Galaxy 3. I just don't think that's the play, and my light just turned off. Now we're back. All right, Negative Nancy here. I understand no one's here to hear a bunch of negativity. Galaxy 3. Let's all fanboy here for a little bit. I'm throwing all logic out the window. Why it would be a bad idea, why it's not happening, I don't care anymore. It's just fanboy Ray and hopefully fanboy Galaxy people watching. Why would this be one of the greatest things that could ever happen in the history of Mario and Nintendo? Because man, Galaxy's special. Galaxy is so special. The music, the gameplay, the aura, everything surrounding Galaxy, the atmosphere, it's unmatched. My guy, Mario Galaxy 3 would break the internet in ways that we have not seen in a long time. Not only would people be very upset at it for reasons I said earlier, but I'm telling you, so many would adore having another Galaxy game, just one more. The first Galaxy game was all about that atmosphere. It was about the quiet, cold loneliness of space, being able to traverse all of this landscape and just have no one to be with. It's just you all alone. Space Junk Galaxy especially. I mean, that Galaxy, it's music. Let's just play like 15 seconds of this music. Man, it's just special, and it really emphasizes how alone Mario is, how awful and desperately lonely space can be, contrasted by the brightness of Mario in his red outfit and his overalls. But still, you realize you're in the middle of nowhere, getting the only person you really care about, trying to save her, who is Princess Peach, and just not being able to find her, having to traverse this entire galaxy. Man, if you think about it for too long, it becomes a little bit sad. It becomes somber. There's just so much nostalgia attached to Galaxy 1, the style of it, the music, the very tight level design. This is the game, and this is Arlo's quote, I believe, but he is so right about this. This was the 3D Mario game where Nintendo got it right. They got the 3D Mario feeling down. 64 was great. We love 64, but it had a ton of jank to it. Mario Sunshine was also fun in its own way, but the jank factor was even worse. There was so much jank in that game to where things just did not even feel fair half the time. Mario Galaxy is when 3D Mario became fun and only fun. There was no longer any jank. Any kind of mess up was totally on you from then on out. These polished experiences really started with Galaxy, and then you move into Galaxy 2. The somberness of Galaxy 1 is pretty much gone. All of that dark space atmosphere is replaced by blue skies because Miyamoto really wanted to emphasize the difference between the Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2, and also just make it a little bit brighter. And because of that, it's the most bombastic and beautiful Mario game I think we could have possibly gotten. Mario Galaxy 2 is, in my opinion, the best 3D Mario. Odyssey is really close. I love Odyssey. I love all of the 3D Mario games. 3D World is underrated as heck. It's up there as well. But Galaxy 2 took everything from 1 and just made it so much better. Galaxy 2 is everything Galaxy 1 was, but just a little bit more big, a little bit more grand. Everything about Galaxy 2 just screams in your face, hey, we did that, and now we're doing this again, but better. We know what we're doing now, and we're gonna make these set pieces grander than ever. The music is gonna be more bombastic. Everything is going to make you feel so cool. Galaxy 2, I could talk all day long about these games. Galaxy 3, there's a chance here that they could progress from 1 to 2 and make it look effortlessly easy and make it look incredible as if it was the idea from day 1, and then go from 2 to 3 so many generations later with all of this graphical fidelity and make it look and feel and sound even better. And the way they could do it is taking out a little bit of that linearity that Galaxy 1 and 2 are known for and begin to connect these galaxies together in an open environment that are also closed within their actual worlds. In Galaxy 1, we had the observatory where you were able to go from location to location from that spot. In Galaxy 2, you kind of went to like a world map through Starship Mario, and you were able to connect the dots, kind of like a 2D map. But one thing I always thought was interesting about Galaxy 2 specifically is that even though you are on a world map, you're going from like universe to universe, and on that screen you can pick which one you want to go to. Imagine, rather than picking it on a select screen, which is what we've seen in pretty much all of the 3D Marios prior, it was more of an open area that you could explore and be able to discover these places on your own. I'm not asking for this to be a Breath of the Wildification of Mario. I don't think they should go fully open world here. I don't want that for Mario. Mario, in my opinion, has always been at his best when there's linearity involved. Satisfying movesets and tight design is the epitome of amazing Mario content. 3D World is so great of that because every single level is a little bit different, but because of that, each one could have its own theme, its own identity, and it was just so solid. But if you imagine how a Galaxy 3 could look on modern hardware built from the ground up and all of these galaxies connected together, almost like a No Man's Sky in its own way, where you are technically going from area to area to start the game, because that is how I think you should absolutely do it. But once you get past a certain point, everything becomes open to you and you can continue to backtrack, go from place to place, unlock abilities, and that will help you progress even further. Almost like a platforming Metroidvania in a 3D Mario style in a Galaxy 3 sounds so amazing. It's just really, really satisfying being able to unlock stuff that allows you to go to other environments. And perhaps, even if you were to know about this game's areas, if you were to know which way you were supposed to go, you could potentially go from the very start to an area that most of the time people would never have figured out. That's what I mean when I say that they need to keep the linearity, but make it a little bit more open. Because that galaxy theme could be so much more grand if you take out the world map, if you take out the hub world. And at the same time, that is very difficult to do, because how do you justify being able to traverse such grand distances without some sort of ship? Listen, I've not been developing this game for 10 years, it's Nintendo. I'm just trying to throw out some ideas for why Galaxy 3 could be so great. Another one that I kind of have here that kind of go with that open world theme, and I don't know exactly how this would work, but imagine every single level that you've played in Mario Galaxy 1 and Mario Galaxy 2. Imagine every single one, but without a single loading zone. Sure, you're able to traverse with whatever area and whatever means of vehicle you have. Sure, you're going to have some linearity and not be able to go from one place to the other so easily, but still, imagine having all of them interconnected in some way. To where, yeah, you definitely can't go to the final boss from the very start of the game, but maybe you can see it. Maybe you can see in the distance an area. Honestly, they could take a note from Xenoblade's page here, because Xenoblade kind of does the same thing, where you are very much not in an open world. You are on a linear progression to where you have to finish one area and story beat before you go to another, but you can still, in Xenoblade 1, see Mechonis, the area that you're going to end up at the end of the game. In Xenoblade 2, it's a bunch of different titans, but you can see them in the distance at some points. And in Xenoblade 3, it's another huge map where you technically can see in the distance. Then again, in Xenoblade Genesis, we can see from that initial teaser trailer, it looks like the entire world is interconnected, just like what I'm suggesting here. No loading zones whatsoever. You just go exactly where you want to go. The potential for side quests that you never could have imagined, just walking up to some random star and some Luma or something like that, and they just give you a quest where you go to a land that you didn't even really need to go to, but it was just there anyways. Man, that's the stuff I'm craving. Imagine Honeybee Galaxy wasn't a requirement, but it was somewhere you just went because, hey, this bee is literally in front of you asking for help, and the main mission's that way, but you can go over here to the Honeybee Galaxy. I love the illusion of choice in games where, yes, you can go one way, but it's actually technically going to be locked in its entirety. Let's continue with this thought experiment about the Honeybee Galaxy, about the Honey Hive Galaxy here. Maybe you don't have the ability you need to save the Honey Hive Galaxy from those beetle monsters that will take over in one of the games. Maybe for whatever reason, you haven't unlocked your ground pound. I don't know, I'm not suggesting they take it away, but let's say you don't have it. Let's say that, for example, that's the power up you need. That's the thing that Mario doesn't have to defeat the beetles and to save Honey Hive Galaxy, and maybe Honey Hive Galaxy will provide you some sort of resource. Maybe not some resource that is going to be essential to the gameplay, something that's maybe not going to be essential to beating the game, but something that will make it easier for you to progress. Let's say you get a honey item, like a honeycomb or something, just something random that Mario will be able to use. Maybe he can attach the honey to his boots and then be able to walk up surfaces for like a few seconds before the honey melts. Okay, well, you have to go through the story beats and then you unlock a ground pound. And in the ground pound sections, you're able to see that you're able to break through hard surfaces. And you might think in your head, wait a minute, those beetles had very hard surfaces. They had like concrete backs. So you remember to go back. You go back, you defeat all the beetles, you free the Honey Hive Galaxy. All of the bees help you out by giving you honeycomb resources, and you can use that to get up surfaces, which makes your gameplay, it just makes more options and gives you a better means of traversal. Even in the game like Donkey Kong Bonanza, where you can literally climb every single surface that isn't slippery, I love that type of access in a world. That's kind of what I'm going with here, where it's not an open world, but it's an open zone. Those games are so satisfying. And Donkey Kong is the same way. You have to go from story beat to story beat, but the freedom, it just feels so present. And every single space junk galaxy that we see in those games, every single buoy base or whatever that level's called with that crazy music where you're in a mechanical circle and you're going up the sphere, for every atmospheric galaxy that you could possibly imagine, put that on like a 5x scale barometer and be able to say to yourself, if I discovered this on my own and it was much larger and it was not taken from me at the last second where you're just pushed into the level and then all of a sudden you're stripped out once you find the star, keep that immersion factor to where you can go from galaxy to galaxy. And for as charming as the visuals are on the Wii, for as amazing as that gameplay felt on the Switch 2, having been developed for this long with this type of hardware, the way that Odyssey felt with Mario's movements, moving all of that into the modern era, guys, a Galaxy 3, it has me frothing at the mouth. It could be one of the best gaming experiences, period, that they offer us ever. So that's Galaxy 3. That's why I think it would be amazing. Now, logically, I don't think they're going to do it, and I don't think it would even be objectively the best idea. But if they decide to go with it, I'm going to hop on that hype train because I have been a Galaxy fan since I've been alive. So that is my video. That's the theory that's going around. It's not my theory. I'm not going to take credit for it, but it is an amazing one. So make sure if you like today's video, you like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Make sure you consider joining my membership program, a few bucks a month, to help support content creators like me, and you get a couple cool perks for yourself. Well, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you click on the left side of your screen to see when 3D Mario might be coming, and click on the right side of your screen to see my rankings of every single 3D Mario game. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. I hope you have yourself a phenomenal day. This has been Ray's Nintendo Talk. I've been Ray, and I'll see you all in the next video.